Ladies and gentlemen, a NASCAR pre-race video in clogs. Exactly. What is going on?
Comfort, dude. Comfort is what's going on.
Welcome into the Rowdy Studio. I'm Tom Vandervoort. That's Stephen Levine here to talk about the race at Pocono. This 400 miles.
Which I think is a good thing. I love Pocono. I'm not a Pocono denigrator.
I love Pocono.
It's one of my favorite tracks.
Yeah.
Because it's unique. That's what I love about it. It's not the same as all these other tracks. It's a triangle. It's got 3 distinct corners.
And you know what it is?
It's tricky.
It's tricky. It's very, very tricky.
The longest straightaway in NASCAR.
What makes it even trickier? I mean, it's got 2 tremendously long straightaways, 3 corners that are very different from each other, different lengths, different radiuses, different degrees of banking. So it's very hard to get your car set up for all 3 corners properly.
You have to compromise.
You have to compromise, and how you get in and out of those corners isn't obvious to everybody. So certain guys have this place figured out, but there's obviously one more wrinkle this weekend, and that is new pavement, a lot more grip at Pocono. And I think the first question becomes, what's the racing groove look like out there? Does it widen out over the course of the race?
Yeah, and we're not going to know that really for a couple of days. What we do know is that these cars are getting around this thing tremendously fast.
Yep.
2 cars at the very first practice session on Wednesday, or test session on Wednesday, 2 cars topped 175 miles an hour.
Average speed.
Average speed.
Which means they're getting down into turn 1. At probably 205, 210, I mean, they are getting up there right after that straightaway. They're getting up there very fast.
Basically, Casey Kane's qualifying record was blown out of the water by 10 or more drivers.
Yeah, and so I think that's what we're going to see in qualifying. And I think starting up front, because of the new pavement, and all the drivers are saying this should be good racing here. It's going to be like Pocono, same characteristics, but faster. But qualifying up front, I think with new pavement is going to be very, very helpful to you. And also, when you think about getting down into turn 1, at the start of the race and following restarts, you know, that's a tight corner. It's hard to go too wide in there. And now, faster with new pavement, that could be a problem area.
Well, especially because there's so much room on that front stretch, on that first straightaway, that you got cars 3, maybe even 4 wide.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
you got to
just
funnel
sort of
down
into that corner.
Yeah.
You could see some torn up sheet metal.
So I think that's one key, is turn 1. But the big key has always been
turn 3.
I think it will continue to be turn 3. How you get through the flattest corner on the course onto the longest straightaway in NASCAR racing. Can you manage to get in there easy enough without being too soft with it to get back on the gas nice and early and extend the straightaway? That's what guys who are good here are able to do. Now, Denny Hamlin, who's been very good here over the years, also seemed to manage turn 1 very well. That was an advantage for him. Is that going to still be there for him with a new pavement? A lot of the bumps are gone. A lot of the slickness is gone.
Here's the other thing I like about Pocono, especially in light of this new pavement, is this is a track where you can actually take some time to make adjustments on pit road, because you're not going to go a lap down. It's very difficult, even under a green flag pit stop, to go a lap down at Pocono.
Right.
And so if you
although a bit more likely now with the lap speeds.
Maybe.
Depends on where you are in the field. If you're first and you want a short pit, you're not going to go a lap down. You can almost use a road course pit strategy, which is come in as soon as you can, stay on the lead lap, and then if the caution flies, you're still on the lead lap, you stay out, everyone else comes in. That's a classic road course pit strategy.
Now, you mentioned Denny Hamlin. Obviously, he's got 4 victories here and has had this place pretty well dialed in, but wasn't so good here last year. Never broke the top 15 in either race last year. You think that was an anomaly? Is he on your short list for this
got to be on your short list based on his performance this year. I think he and Darian Grubb have proven to be a very good combination. No, he wasn't that good at Dover, but we expected that. I mean, he's basically looks like the Denny Hamlin we've seen, except for last year for the previous few seasons. So I expect Denny to be strong. I would think Jimmy Johnson's an obvious pick here. And you have to also look at the winners from last year's Pocono races, Jeff Gordon in this race and Brad Keselowski in the second Pocono race. I think Jeff Gordon could be a threat here. He needs it. You know, he was good last week, so you got to take your positives out of that despite the bad luck. I
got a little bit of a dark horse pick. It's a little bit of a reach, not a huge reach, but a little bit of a reach that I think I'm going to go with. A guy who has 50 Cup starts here, has run more miles here than anybody else.
That's a good pick. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Mark
Martin likes Pocono and is very good here.
Of 50 Cup starts, get this, he has maintained an 11.2 average.
You know, Pocono is almost a microcosm of his career because he's finished second here so many times.
It's mind-boggling that he doesn't have a win here.
It's crazy.
But he's one of those 2 guys we mentioned earlier that topped 175 on Wednesday. And I just, I just have a little bit of a gut feeling. I'm going with Mark Martin.
Yeah, I think it's a great pick. I'm going to go with Jeff Gordon this week. I think Jeff Gordon's due some good luck, and I think, with Alan Gustafson, I think they're finally headed in the right direction based on Dover.
All right, that's our look at Pocono Raceway, and what is it, the hashtag 400?
It's the FedEx 400 presented by hashtag
Twitter,
NASCAR.
Hashtag
and yeah.
So watch the race. We'll be back to talk about it on Monday.